Hello, it's Linny George from Stampin' with Linny, and welcome to the first video in my tips and tricks mini video series. So there will be more of them, so be sure to check them all out. And before I start, if you wouldn't mind giving my video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel, that would be great too. That would really be helpful. So today's first video is about sticking down strips of cardstock or pattern papers so they're as evenly spaced as possible. So I'll show you a finished card that I've made to just show you what I am trying to do. So in the background here, you can just see that I've got 3 strips of cardstock underneath this focal image. Now, if you've ever tried to do this and get them all evenly spaced, it is a pain in the neck to try and glue them all down straight. Now, it is a handmade card, and I'm not one to get a ruler and precisely measure things, but I'm going to show you a tip that I use to get them as evenly spaced and straight as possible. So for starters, I like to use my Tombow liquid glue because it gives me some slip time. But in this case, I've got one sort of partly ready to go here. In this case, rather than starting with the liquid glue and sticking them down and quickly having to wiggle them into the right place, because you've only got a few seconds to do that. So what I have done is I'm getting my mini glue dots, and I'm just going to put, I've already stuck this one down, I'm just going to put a couple on the back of each strip. So it doesn't matter, like, they don't have to be precisely in the middle or anything like that. The only reason I'm using 2 and not 1 is because if I put 1 in the middle, the piece, when you stick it down, will still want to swivel around like this. So I want to take a little bit of tack off that, not too much, because I want it to be helpful. All right, so that's one, and I'll do the other one as well. And make sure I'm putting that on the side that I want to stick down. So I've already obviously embossed these pieces. Okay, so as you can see, they're not perfectly centered. It doesn't matter. It's just to give us something to hold it in place temporarily and still being able to move it around to where we want it lined up. So I've got this one. It's not permanent, it's still only got the glue dots on it, but it's in the spot where I want to put it. So I'm just going to start manipulating these around. So you just take your time. Don't try and rush it. There's no hurry. Okay, now I can look at that and go, yeah, that's not quite right. Okay, so what I can do is I can lift them up. See, that pulled up quite easily. But the point is it does stay in place more than if there was nothing on the back. Okay. Now the only reason I keep turning this around is just so I can look at it from all different angles, because I've got some shadow being cast by the light coming in my window. Now that's, so you want to line it up even at the top and the bottom, as well as the spacing in between. I can zoom that in a little bit for you if that's helpful. Okay, now I think that's getting pretty close to being, as I say, not perfect. It's a handmade card, but I think that is pretty good. So now we need to stick it down permanently. This is where my liquid glue comes into play. So now I'm just going to give those glue dots a little bit of a press, because we're going to leave those there, and that's going to form the adhesion in the middle of those strips. Now I'm going to get some liquid glue, and I'm simply going to this one must be getting a bit empty, but that's okay. All right, I'm not going to go right to the edges, and I'm just going to push that down both sides. And I'll give you another tip about liquid glue too. Whatever liquid glue you're if you are using liquid glue, don't take it right to the edges, because you'll end up with glue oozing out, and we don't want that. Now, if I'd only put one glue dot in the middle of those, as I'm trying to stick these down, I could find that it might swivel a little bit. So that's why it's good to use about two. Okay, and last one. And now, when we look at our card, we have got a pretty evenly spaced 3 strips of cardstock. So obviously this will work with papers as well. And eventually I will be making another one similar to that. So I won't go through the finishing the card now, because it was just about showing you an easy way of getting those strips evenly lined up. So I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you for watching this one, and be sure to check out the others in my series. Bye for now.